If humans could feel every death on Earth in real time, civilization would end in 72 hours. The first time it happened, 8 billion people gasped at the exact same moment, and the scientists who were monitoring global heart rate data quit their jobs that same afternoon. It's 6:14 a.m. on a Wednesday. Somewhere in São Paulo, a 79-year-old man takes his last breath in a hospital bed. And in that exact instant, every single human being on Earth feels it. Not as pain, not yet, just a flutter, a tiny electrical whisper somewhere behind the ribs, like your heart skipped a beat, then caught itself. Most people don't notice it. They're making coffee, they're half asleep. They roll over and assume it was a dream. 2 seconds later, it happens again. A woman in Lagos, another flutter, then again, somewhere in rural China.
What was that?
And again, and again.
What's happening?
Because here's what nobody tells you in the first hour. Right now, at this very moment, 2 people die every single second on planet Earth. 108 people per minute. 6,500 per hour. Over 150,000 per day. Which means that every person alive is being struck by a new death pulse every half second. At first, it's background noise, a subtle rhythm, like a second heartbeat that doesn't quite belong to you. But by 9 a.m., the calls start flooding emergency services.
I need an ETA on
Something's
those officers.
wrong with my heart.
The situation is escalating
I keep getting
quickly.
this pressure in my chest.
Send the nearest unit to
I've had
Sector
12
4.
episodes in the
We have
last
multiple
hour.
reports
My
of
doctor
smoke
says
at
my
the district
EKG
center.
is perfectly
Copy that.
normal.
Heading there now.
Hospitals across North America, Europe, and Asia begin filling. Not with the sick, but with the terrified. People who are medically fine, but who feel undeniably that something is dying inside them, over and over again. By 10 a.m., a thread on social media has 4 million views. The title, "Is anyone else feeling like they're being poked in the heart?" The comments confirm it immediately. Every age, every country, every language. And then a biology student, no credentials, no platform, posts a single comment that stops the conversation cold. Wait, if this is connected to death, then right now the rate is about 2 per second. That means we're all getting hit twice per second. But what if the rate goes up? Nobody responds for a full 60 seconds, because everyone already knows what that question is really asking. By noon on day 1, the first deaths caused by the sensation are confirmed. A 62-year-old man in Warsaw, undiagnosed heart condition, the repeated jolts induced cardiac arrest. He becomes death number 150,001 of that day. His death is felt by 8 billion people. And somewhere in Madrid, a 71-year-old woman with a similar condition feels that pulse and doesn't survive it. She becomes number 150,002. Her death ripples outward. Scientists will later call it the cascade, a feedback loop of biological terror. Each death causes more deaths. More deaths create a higher pulse frequency. A higher frequency triggers more cardiac events. By 3 p.m., the daily death rate has climbed to 200,000. By 6 p.m., it's at 340,000. The jolts are no longer subtle. They are now sharp, hard, like someone pressing a thumb directly into the center of your chest every 0.3 of a second. Trying to eat becomes impossible. Trying to sleep is a joke. People sit on floors, gripping their own shirts, just waiting for the next one. And the one after that. By the morning of day 2, the world has fundamentally changed. Air traffic control towers are empty. 2 planes clipped wings on a runway in Dubai. Controllers losing fractions of a second at the exact wrong moment. Surgeons who attempted operations on day 1 report losing focus during critical procedures. The global medical community issues an advisory, elective surgeries postponed indefinitely. But even emergency surgeries become dangerous. And then comes the part nobody anticipated. The pulses don't just affect the body, they affect the mind. By hour 30, neurologists begin documenting something they have no language for. Patients are experiencing what one researcher calls emotional bleed. Alongside the physical jolt, people are feeling a wash of sensation, grief, confusion, sometimes peace, sometimes terror. The last emotional state of the dying, briefly imprinted onto every living person. People are crying in the street, not knowing whose sorrow they're carrying.
How can we possibly move
A mother
on
in
from
Seoul
this?
sits outside her apartment building, tears streaming down her face, whispering that she doesn't know why she's crying. She's crying for strangers, for hundreds of them, for thousands, and she cannot stop. By hour 48, psychologists are calling it the most catastrophic mental health event in recorded human history. The technical term, thanatosensory overload. The human brain was never built to process death at this frequency. It has no filter, no buffer. The mind begins confusing the death pulses for its own dying. Survivors from day 2 describe it this way. Every few seconds, I forgot I was still alive. I kept thinking I was the one going. Some people stop eating, not from inability, but because performing any normal action, chewing, drinking, walking, feels like an insult. They can feel thousands of people leaving the world. Eating a sandwich while someone dies feels unbearable in a way that language doesn't have words for yet. Suicide rates spike, but the reasons are unlike anything crisis counselors have encountered before. People report not wanting to add to the pulse, not wanting to be felt as one more death by 8 billion others. They want their death to be private. That desire becomes the most tragic irony of all. On the afternoon of day 3, a team of neuroscientists in Geneva publish an emergency paper. It goes viral in seconds. The title, "This Has Always Been There." Buried deep in the human limbic system is a structure they're calling the mortolimbic node. It has always existed. It evolved millions of years ago, likely as a survival mechanism, helping early humans detect when death was approaching their group. But at some point in our evolution, a second structure developed alongside it. A suppressor, a neurological wall that muted the signal completely so that civilization could function, so that we could exist without drowning in the deaths of strangers every second of every day. The paper's final line is the one that breaks the internet. We do not yet know what switched the suppressor off, but we have found evidence that it has switched off before. We found it in the fossil record, in the bone composition of skeletal remains dating back 9,000 years. An entire human settlement, 43 individuals, found together in a single room. Cause of death indeterminate, no trauma, no disease, no starvation. They simply stopped. By hour 72, the global death rate has climbed past 1.2 million per day. The pulse is now arriving 4 times per second. People cannot speak, cannot move. Many have simply sat down wherever they happen to be and closed their eyes. Streets are silent in a way no city has ever been silent. A final broadcast goes out from an emergency UN relay station. The scientist speaking is calm, strangely calm. We have been looking for a technological cause, she says, a signal, a weapon, a pathogen. We have found none of these. What we have found is a pattern. Every time this event has occurred in human history, and it has occurred, it follows the same arc. A species reaches a threshold, a point where the number of deaths it is actively causing exceeds what the suppressor was designed to absorb. The suppressor doesn't fail randomly. It fails when we've earned it. She looks directly into the camera. We didn't catch a disease. We became one. Her eyes go still. Her body slumps forward slowly in the chair. And 8 billion people feel it. If you could feel every human death in real time, how long do you think you would last before your mind broke?